As a woman over 50, we have more struggles than we might have in our 20s and 30s. Are you struggling with trying to lose fat, having more energy, trying to balance out your hormones? Well, intermittent fasting is exactly what I do and what I think every woman should be doing to help address those issues. So that's what we're going to talk about in today's video. Now, we've all heard that in order to lose weight, the old adage, something we've been taught since early childhood, is calories in, calories out. We have to look at eating less calories and spending more calories by doing more activity. Well, guess what? It doesn't work. If that worked, everybody would be fit. There would be no obesity epidemic like there is today in our country, in our world. And the fact is, it's more than just calories in, calories out. You cannot balance it. There's no way to know what exact calories you take in, what exact calories you are burning, and what calories you are storing. But we can do things that will help us move in the direction we want to do, because we have learned through science, through testing, through different things, that actually it's more about what you do, what kind of food you eat. 100 calories of a donut is not the same as 100 calories of broccoli. Our body reacts differently in a hormonal and chemical response. So depending on what kind of food you eat, that's one of the factors. So it isn't calories in, it's what you are eating and then how your body takes care of it. How does your body burn those calories? How does it digest? How does it take up those nutrients? And then also we need to ask, why is it going to store some away? What causes that? And it all comes down to hormone. It's not calories in, calories out. It is hormones. Our hormones decide what we store, what we burn, what we hold on to. That's just the way it is. And intermittent fasting helps with balancing out those hormones. That's what fasting does. Insulin is one of the big factors that we have to worry about, especially in midlife, because that's the storage hormone. That's what's going to put fat on our bodies. And so how do we level that out? Well, fasting actually gives your body a chance to naturally bring down your insulin levels so that you're not storing. And when you need energy, when you need focus, when you need the ability to just live, your body goes into the storage and uses that fuel. Fat on our bodies is just fuel that our body stored through because of insulin for a later date when it needed it. In our society today, we don't have times when we go very long without food. So it's not dipping into those stores. It's just storing on top of it over and over and over again. It's like going shopping and putting food in your fridge and never getting in there to eat, but going shopping again to put more food in. After a while, it's going to become overflow. It's going to have too much in there. And that's what's happening with our bodies. Plus, with that insulin always up, our bodies become insulin resistant. And a lot of us are, especially getting into mid-age, we become very insulin resistant. And what that means is your insulin isn't storing like it should. It can't, because the cells aren't listening to it anymore, because they've been stimulated so much. It can't put that sugar into our stores anymore, our muscle and fat and around our organs, so it spills back over into the blood. And that's where diabetes and things like that happen, because we aren't being responsive. Our bodies aren't responding to the insulin anymore. We need to bring that level back down, that hormone, our insulin, back down, and even out our hunger hormones. And fasting naturally does that. Our ancestors would eat, they would store some, and they would burn some, and what they stored would be there as fuel for when the next time they fasted which was frequently. They would eat, they would hunt, they would get something, and then they'd have to fast and go off to hunt for something else in maybe days. Were they lethargic? Were they unable to hunt? Were they unable to find food and focus and have the energy to do that? No, because their bodies naturally went into their fat stores. That's what our bodies were created to do. Stores fat, and then in times when there's no food coming in, it uses that for fuel. Our bodies were so amazingly made, but we don't give them a chance to do what they were supposed to do. We don't give them a chance to balance out that insulin, to balance out those hormones, because we are putting in food all the time, and our hormones are all over the place. And not to say our hormones are always level, right? When you're in puberty, our hormones were all over, fluctuating. In pregnancy, in postpartum, in nursing babies, and now perimenopause and menopause, our hormones are all over, but we have to work so they're not so stuck in an imbalance that we can't function. When we fast, we help bring them back into level. And because like in this time of life, estrogen is going down. When estrogen goes down, insulin goes up. Well, we have to bring that insulin back down. And so through fasting, we can do that. We can give our body the opportunity to do what it was supposed to do and bring that insulin down. And then we're able to tap into all that storage that we have from years and years. And our body starts to heal itself. We start to lose fat. We start to get rid of inflammation, all these beautiful things. So that's how intermittent fasting can help with balancing your hormones. And when you're balancing out your hormones and it helps to balance out estrogen and insulin, that's when we can really dip in and get rid of that fat, especially around the abdomen, that we have in midlife. One of the many things we have to worry about, but there's a cure for it. So which fasting protocol would be good? Well, there are different protocols. There is the 16-8, that's probably where most people begin. And that's fasting for 16 hours and eating for 8, eating 2 or 3 meals in the 8-hour window, which is okay. And it does have benefits. But if you are in midlife, perimenopause or menopause, and you have things to reverse, you have fat to lose, you need your energy, you need brain fog removed, you need to maybe reverse some chronic conditions, some inflammation, then the 16-8 really isn't going to be long enough for you. Even the 18-6, where you fast for 18 hours and then you eat for 6 hours, that may not be enough for you. You may see some benefit. You may lose a little bit of weight, depending. Everybody's different, but you really have to get your body into a deep fasted state. And when we start fasting, the first 12 hours, we're digesting, our body's doing what it can do and take care of that last meal. But after that, once that's taken care of, you want time for your body to dip into the fasted state and start processes like burning your fat and giving you energy in ketosis, or dipping into autophagy at 17 hours, where it really goes in to start eating away at bad proteins, damaged cells, starts to really use your fat stores, reverse inflammation, and starts to heal things that you have. It was autophagy that helped take care of brown patches on my skin. It was autophagy that helped me heal plantar fasciitis. It's autophagy that has helped my skin look younger. That is where you want your body to start to dip into, is autophagy through being in a fasted state over 17 hours. And right now I'm doing the 20-hour fast. This is my 3rd week starting. So I'm fasting for at least 20 hours a day, and I have a 4-hour feasting window. I have gone over that, 22 to 24 hours. I'm really enjoying this fasting protocol for me because I like having just a short period of time where I eat, because I like to eat. And if I have a longer window than that, I'm going to overeat, and I know that. But having a short window, eating almost the same thing every day, helps me to stay on track. Plus, it gives me enough of an eating window for a family meal or a date night with my husband, something like that. I can participate in those things, and I have a 24-hour fast every day. I am dipping into autophagy every single day, which is anti-aging. I really don't like that term because it's not anti-aging. It's to help me age well, not to age too fast. That's one thing that I don't want to age faster than I am supposed to. So I'm supporting through my lifestyle to age well, to age appropriately, not too fast. If it wants to age a little slower, that's okay. But I want to just make sure it's a healthy way of aging. And that's what my goal is. So fasting has been part of our lifestyle forever. The only difference is now in today's world, we have to decide for ourselves and work it in, do it on purpose, and do it with a plan in mind. Years ago, it was just built into our ancestors' lifestyle. They didn't have to think about it. They ate the fast. Even as far as back to the 1970s, most people just ate within a 8-hour eating window. They had breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They really weren't snacking. The parents would say, you're not gonna mess up your dinner. If you don't eat dinner, you'll go to bed hungry. We didn't snack, and everything in our lives weren't around food back then. And the obesity issues or chronic illnesses that we have today weren't around back then. Very rare. But in today's society, the way our world is today, the way everything revolves around food, no matter what you're doing, no matter where you're going, food is usually involved. We have to be more mindful of how we are going to live our lives. It takes discipline. It takes courage. It takes us developing virtues that maybe we have never developed before, but it's good for you. What's good for one thing, fasting is good for your body, so it's good for your mind, and it's good for your soul. It's something that God created that is good for us all around. And so picking a protocol, picking your fasting hours that work for you is where it begins. And it doesn't have to, you don't have to fast 20 hours forever. You don't. Just do it until you're healed, until you're where you need to be, until you've lost the fat, until you've reversed a few things. And then maybe you can change it back to a 16-8. But if you are looking for fat loss, as I assume you are if you clicked on this video, then starting with at least 20 hours is what I would suggest. So how do you eat? For a woman over 50 who wants to lose fat, wants to heal, wants to reverse some things, you have to eat good food. And what I mean by good food is nutrient-dense food, whole foods, one ingredient foods. You don't want to eat foods that have an ingredient list a mile long. You don't want to eat foods that are processed, ultra processed, that come in a box, that come in a packet. Whole foods, meats, vegetables, some fruits. You don't need all that extra sugar and processed toxins in your diet. If you are eating a diet of whole foods, one ingredient foods, and you are paying attention to making sure you're getting enough protein, that you're getting a variety of vegetables and some fruit, your diet will actually help you to burn fat and to heal. What happens when you're fasting and your body goes into that process, that deep fasted state where it starts to heal? When you've eaten good food, nutrient-dense food, foods that your body can take and use and utilize the nutrients in it without a lot of waste byproduct or a lot of excess sugar and carbs and stuff, your body knows exactly what to do. And then when you fast, it's more efficient. It actually does the job better. So one of the things I like to think about is I do not fast so that I can feast on whatever I want. I feast on things that are healthy, that are nutrient dense, that are going to feed my body and give all the nutrients that it needs, so that when I fast, my fast is that much powerful. My fast is that much more efficient, and it doesn't take my body a lot of work to do what it needs to do. So when you eat, you need to make sure that you are eating foods that are good for your body. And there are different things like inflammatory, like dairy is inflammatory, gluten is inflammatory. Those usually cause people issues. Processed food, toxins, bad oils, the oils that aren't healthy, those fats that aren't healthy, like canola and corn oil and vegetable oil and those ones. We want healthy fats. But when you eat that healthy food and you come to realize what foods help your body, what foods might be damaging, like whether or causing inflammation, like a dairy or something like that. But when you start to fast, your body becomes more in tune with what foods really work for you. You know when you eat something if you don't feel your best, or if that doesn't work for you. Some things may work for you and not work for me. Some things may work for me and not for you. Everybody's different. And that's one of the reasons why this lifestyle is so powerful, because we start to learn what is good for us. We're all different. We have different intolerances or tolerances. And so you have to learn for yourself. But the best thing to do is start with one ingredient whole food. Feed your body what it needs. The food that God gave us, not the ultra processed, not the corn oils, the corn syrup, all the different kinds of chemicals and toxins in our food. One ingredient, clean, whole food, organic if you can, but just start eating to feed your body. Don't live to eat. Eat so that you can live and that you can fast well. So through all this, we have to realize that we have a mind, we have a body, and we have a soul, and they are all connected. At conception, our body, physical body, was infused with our soul, our spiritual soul, and it's just all connected. My fasting lifestyle has affected, I came to fasting for fat loss, for healing, but it's also changed my mind. It has helped me to grow in other areas, and it has totally grown my spiritual life and my spiritual practices. It has just transformed my whole life. Doesn't matter why I came to it. The fact of the matter is fasting, it is so good for your body, but it is so good for your soul, and it is so good for your mind. And so once you start to take on this lifestyle and build it, you won't help but see the benefits to every part of your being, what it does. And whether you're coming to it for fat loss, for hormone balance, for healing, or for spiritual reasons, fasting is a tool that God created. He gave it to us. And it so happens that it benefits every part of our life. So think about that the next time that you think, should I even think of intermittent fast? Fasting is powerful. And when you do this, even if you come to it for weight loss or healing, it ultimately is going to affect your spiritual life and your mind. And what is wrong with fasting for an intention of healing your body, healing your mind, and to add a prayer and attention to it that would make it even more powerful? I love my fasting lifestyle, and I am here to share with you. So if you have any questions, just leave them below. I love to hear your comments. Make sure you like this video, subscribe if you haven't, and share it out, and I'll see you in the next one.